Hi everyone, my name is Abhilasha and I'm a VRC educator for CAT. Today in this 99 percentile question series, I will be discussing 3 questions where one is a para-jumble and the other 2 are para-summary questions. Let's not waste any more time and let's get into the thick of things by starting off with our first question. So here it is. Oh, before I forget about it and before I begin, here is my Telegram channel link, that is https://t.me. That's a short link to AbhiCat. The name of the channel is VARC 99.99 Abhilasha. And you can find me here if you wish to connect with me for questions, for doubts, for discussions. Do remember to stay connected with me on Telegram. Here's our first question. This one is a para jumble, guys. So we have been given 4 sentences and we are supposed to arrange them into the correct order and then type in our answer. This is a theta question. So let's take a minute and let's solve this question together. So let me read out the sentences for you. So the first sentence is, man has used poisons for assassination purposes ever since the dawn of civilization, against individual enemies, but also occasionally against armies. So we are talking of using poisons for assassination purpose. These dangers were soon recognized and resulted in 2 international declarations in 1874 in Brussels and 1899 in The Hague that prohibited the use of poisoned weapons. So what are these dangers we will have to look for? So I know we are talking of some dangers and those dangers are going to be mentioned in the sentence that is going to be prior to sentence 2. The foundation of microbiology by Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch offered new prospects for those interested in biological weapons because it allowed agents to be chosen and designed on a rational basis. So the third sentence says that when microbiology was founded by Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch, it brought in new ideas and new concepts for anyone who was interested in biological weapons. Why? Because it allowed what poison or which weapon you would use and what would be the agent of spreading that. So you could choose your agents and then you could design the biological weapon based on those things on a rational basis. So it was not just passion. I could decide that I will make my weapon using these 2 poisons, and the agent of spreading this could be wind, it could be water, it could be an animal, or it could be anything else. So this is interesting. I somehow get the feeling that the choice that you would get in making the individual biological weapons are the dangers that are being talked about in 2. So I will write 3 here. Okay, but I will also look at my 4th sentences. Though treaties were all made in good faith, they contained no means of control and so fail. Okay, so take a look at this one. The last sentence says that here were the treaties that were made, the 2 international declarations in 1874 and 1899. They were made in good faith, but they did not have any means of control and so failed in their purpose. So after 3, 2, I should get 4. And because 1 is my introductory sentence which talked about the concept of using poison for assassination purposes, not just against one person but against armies entirely. So I think 1, 3, 2, 4 should be a beautiful sentence set where 1 is my introduction and then 3 and 2, so 3, 2 and then 4 form the next set of statements. Let's take a look at our options at the correct answer. So the correct answer is yes, 1, 3, 2, 4. So man has used poison for assassination purposes. The minute you got microbiology, there were new prospects for poisoning people. So anyone who was interested in biological weapons, in using animals and other such like things for weapons, they got new prospects. They could use microbiology. Then these dangers were soon recognized and then there were 2 international declarations and the treaties were made in good faith, but there was no means of control and so they failed. So the correct answer will be 1, 3, 2 and 4. I hope you got this. Let's take a look at our next question. The next question is a summary question. It's a very interesting question, and uh, let's take a minute to read this and then we will try and discuss it together. So let me read it out for you. So, uh, for years, movies and television series like Crime Scene Investigation, CSI, paint an unrealistic picture of the science of voices. In the 1994 movie Clear and Present Danger, an expert listens to a brief recorded utterance and declares that the speaker is Cuban, age 35 to 45, educated in the eastern United States. The recording is then fed into a supercomputer that matches the voice to that of a suspect, concluding that the probability of correct identification is 90%. This sequence, the scene that we see in Clear and Present Danger, sums up a good number of misimpressions about forensic phonetics, which have led to errors in real life justice. Now, when we see this movie or when we see these series where they use voice and then they interpret where this voice is coming from, who is the utterer, what is his age, and so on, this apparently makes us feel that forensics phonetics, that means the science of using phonetics for criminology, is really advanced, while it is not. So it gives us a good number of misimpressions which have led to errors in real life justice, because real life this does not happen. Indeed, that movie scene exemplifies the so-called CSI effect. So we actually get the feeling where you expect that the forensic science will be able to tell you everything by just hearing a voice, and that's not really true. The phenomena in which judges hold unrealistic expectations of the capabilities of forensic science. So essentially the writer is saying that when you have TV series, they have painted this very unrealistic picture of the science of forensic phonetics, and because of that, a lot of times judges and other people expect too much of it. They expect forensics phonetics to be much more robust and much more stronger than it really is. All right, let's take a look at our options. Option number A says, although voice recognition is often presented as evidence in legal cases, its scientific basis can be shaky. Well, it doesn't say, our passage does not really say that voice recognition is often presented as evidence. The problem is it often presented? No, we don't know. So therefore, the passage has not said anything like that. So therefore, A is incorrect because of that one word, often. Voice recognition, as used in many movies to identify criminals, has been used to identify criminals in real life also. No, it appears as if it would be used in real life but has not been really used. So saying that it has been used makes it very extreme and therefore cannot be the right answer. Let's look at option 3. Movies and television have led to the belief that the use of forensic phonetics in legal investigation is robust and foolproof. Well, yes, this is what we were talking about, that when we see movies, when we see television, we feel that forensics phonetics is a very strong science. So we feel that there is no scope of error there. So apparently it feels as if like that. So 3 sounds like a good choice. Let's look at the fourth one. Voice recognition has started to feature prominently in crime scene intelligence investigation because of movies and television series. Again, the problem is that it has not really started to feature prominently because the passage does not say anything. It says that judges are expecting it to feature prominently and to give good solutions, but that's not really happening. So again, D is over expecting. The option appears as if it is very close to the passage, but it is not. So the best answer here, guys, should be option C. Okay, let's take a look at the correct answer and see if it is right. Movies and, okay, yes, C is the correct answer. Wonderful. I hope you were able to understand this one. Let's come to the next question. Here's the third question. Let's take a moment and solve this. As Soviet power declined, so one side the Soviet power was declining, the world became to some extent multipolar. So you had many poles. And Europe strove to define an independent identity. Europe tried to make itself independent, that here it was a separate identity. What a journey Europe has undertaken to reach this point. So Europe has had to travel far and wide, and has had a very long journey to reach this point, that it is an independent entity. It had in every century changed its internal structure and invented new ways of thinking about the nature of international order. So it has changed, it has looked at new ways of thinking about the nature of international order. Now at the culmination of an era, Europe, in order to participate in what the international order is, felt obliged to set aside the political mechanisms through which it had conducted its affairs for 3.5 centuries. So, for the last 350 odd years, the way they were running Europe, now they have to change it. Impelled also by the desire to cushion the emergent unification of Germany, the new European Union established a common currency in 2002 and a formal political structure in 2004. So because they were trying to cushion the upcoming unification of Germany and whatever was happening, they decided to create a common currency and a formal political structure. It proclaimed a Europe united, whole and free, adjusting its differences by peaceful mechanism. So they said that Europe is whole, it is united and it is free, and that they will have their differences but they will settle them by their own means and ways. Okay, so all about Europe, of course, we can see Europe, and how Europe has changed its path from what it was doing for the last 350 years and has now emerged as one. So that's our passage. Let's take a look at our options. Europe has consistently changed in keeping with the changing world order, and that has culminated in a united Europe. Well, yes, it has changed, but I will not mark consistently because that's something that we really don't know if it has consistently changed, because for the past 3.5 centuries it was a certain way. So consistent change I have my doubts about. So I'll put a star on this and I'll just mark it with a cross. The establishment of a formal political structure in Europe was hastened by the unification of Germany and the emergence of a multipolar world. Again, was it really hastened by it that they created a formal political structure? Yes, it was. They wanted to cushion this emergent unification of Germany. They wanted to make it easy. But was it also the emergence of a multipolar world that hastened it? We don't really know if it was hastened, because the writer has said impelled by. Impelled means to cause, right? But to hasten, not really. So I will eliminate option B also. Europe has consistently changed its internal structure to successfully adapt to the changing world order. I'll put a star on this. It appears to be very close to our answer choice, that Europe has regularly changed its internal structure to successfully adapt to a changing world order. Again, I have one problem here, consistently, because remember, for the last 350 years they were away and now they are changing. Okay, so I will put a star on this one and I'll come to the last option. Europe has chosen to lower political and economic heterogeneity in order to adapt itself to an emerging multipolar world. So they are trying to lower economic heterogeneity by having one currency. Heterogeneity means dissimilarity. So they are trying to make it similar by having one currency. So economic heterogeneity is reduced. Political heterogeneity also, because they have established a formal political structure. So they have done both of these in order to adapt itself to an emerging multipolar world, because the world has become a multipolar world. They want to appear a certain way to the world. Therefore, they said, let us among our own nations remove or reduce our differences and present to the world as one. Well, this is what the passage appears to look like, right? That is what they have said. So let us take a look at our answer and check if it is correct. I feel this has to be the correct answer. Yes, D is the correct answer, guys. That's a wonderful choice. I hope you have been able to understand how we came to this answer. Guys, every day at 10:15, I do practice rush hour, which is a daily section test for VARC. Let me write that down. It is a daily section test for VARC. If you haven't yet joined, please do join. You have my Telegram channel address already, so you can join me. Guys, remember to hit the like button, the share button, hit the bell icon, and also subscribe to us if you haven't yet subscribed. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Unacademy, all you have to do is use my referral code, that is Abhicat Live, to get your 10% off on the next Unacademy subscription. Remember, we run many offers also where you can get even better discounts. So for that, please keep following me and other educators on Unacademy. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.